Hello, I'm Cerberus, host of the Aerides Entertainment YouTube channel, and former Raven's Ark administrator and representative. Since we are now 15 days away from the release of Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, I wanted to do something a little bit celebratory by introducing my particular build in Armored Core Nexus. Many of you have already seen it, but I wanted to do this in a more professional manner this time. Although I own a PlayStation 2 and a physical copy of Nexus, both discs and even the manual as a matter of fact, I am currently emulating the game through the most recent release of the PCSX2 1.7 Nightly emulator, for the upscaling that the emulator can perform on PC hardware. Also, because my current PS2 loves to scratch discs. I lost my original copy of Nexus to the bloody thing. With all of that said, I would like for you all to welcome my current build, BERCEUSE. A BERCEUSE is a composition often resembling a lullaby, usually in 6/8 time signature, and is also often used as a synonym for a lullaby. The reason why it is named as such is due to a build I had made in Armored Core 1 named Lullaby, which was made in tribute to a friend I had lost earlier this year. May she continue to rest in eternal peace, no longer in pain. Because of my attachment to that build, I decided to make my HC a spiritual successor to hers. BERCEUSE is a middleweight bipedal type of an exceedingly conventional construction. Minimal frills, if any. About the most exciting part of BERCEUSE's construction is the head unit, for all of its functions. Beyond that, its parts specialize in decent defense, high attack capability, above average mobility, and a high cooling spec. This is Nexus, after all. BERCEUSE's weapons are, again, fairly standard fare. An 800-round machine gun that's surprisingly accurate at longer distances than the rest, and a handgun more designed for the high heat output to disrupt other ACs. Should BERCEUSE run dry of ammo, it does house a laser blade in the left hanger unit, ensuring it always has a means to attack. From a distance, BERCEUSE also utilizes micro-missiles for a high-speed crowd of missiles to bombard the target. And as a last resort, BERCEUSE also utilizes a triple rocket as a shotgun blast of higher than average destructive yield, to hopefully secure 1 hit out of 3 at minimum. Lastly, for its shoulders, BERCEUSE has Kisaragi's energy recharge units to supplement its boosters, or in the event of overheat, to help the generator feed energy to speed up the cooldown, mitigating and minimizing overheat-related issues. It is admittedly a very brute force means of addressing the energy recharge rate, but it has its benefits aside from that, and I am working on fixing the EN supply stat as well. BERCEUSE has surprising amounts of aerial combat capability when given the opportunity to. Note the low heat at this moment, but given it has not had many opportunities to explore aerial combat beyond the test arena and battles where it is more conducive to stay on the ground, BERCEUSE's strengths lie primarily in ground combat, but it is showing apt potential in more unpredictable and chaotic situations. I hate to say this because it sounds incredibly egotistical, but I am genuinely impressed with what I've got here. Now to demonstrate BERCEUSE's combat capabilities in a mission proper with the most recent incarnation. So we're going to go ahead and do the mission where we face off against Pinfire and Zacy Bullet Life. Starting off with the drones at the beginning section. You'll notice that I am overshooting a pretty significant amount. This is a semi-conscious decision, only because of the fact that, they're a little bit further than BERCEUSE is most, operationally effective in. Because the machine gun's not super accurate from that distance, but it is actually surprisingly very nice enough. The handgun I didn't want to use too much ammunition from though, but it is fair enough. I don't know why I insisted on walking and using the micro-missile here, but, alright, I guess the micro-missile's a bit overkill, and I guess I wanted to save up on energy. But, there he is, there's the man of the hour. There's Bullet Life. My, you look like a pissed off wasp.
Your time is at hand, Raven.
And you sound pissed off too. Oh, come on. That had to have been a joke. Like, was that intentional because of the fact that he's using the WA finger, which looks like a hand? Time is at hand. God, whether that was intentional or not, of course a clown like me that recognizes it. I'm not sure if multiple is the correct term I would use here, because he's got just the one WA finger active, I think. He might have a spare, but like, I mean, the Sylph, I think that it is the Sylph in the left hand. Editor me, you can put an image up. That's not spread shot. The chain gun isn't spread shot. The micro missiles I wouldn't even argue are spread shot. But then again, this game is like at least a decade and a half old at this point. I don't know why I'm arguing semantics with it. It's a bit too late to fix it. But yeah, so you'll notice that I am actually having a bit of a struggle against Bullet Life here, because BERCEUSE, despite being a bit of a balanced build, is more so spec'd out to, you know, close-ish range, instead of like full-blown close range. But to be my most effective against him, I have to get a little bit closer, and that just puts me right at good range to be melted by his weapons. If he didn't switch so often, I'm pretty sure I would have actually died by now. I don't know why I even bothered with this, considering he's got a decoy out, and most of the missiles didn't even really hit anyway. Kind of dancing right along the edge. And yep, I forgot to purge there for a second. There we go. And yet, despite the flaws, that's that. First try and everything.
How can this be?
Simple. I had the range advantage. I think the sound team could have used a little more time on this scene. Apologies for the voice crack. So, that battle taught me that, yeah, I need to try to get a little bit better at spec'ing one way or another here.
Mission objective achieved.
In hindsight, I probably could have used the rockets a little bit more. That probably would have done a pretty decent amount of damage. And now for the second, or at least on my save file, fight against Evangel here.
Let's find out who's stronger now.
I don't know why he's, like, Russian, Eastern European, anything like that, especially when his voice in Last Raven is completely different. But, yeah. This music choice is actually completely deliberate. For those unaware, if you didn't see me explain it on Twitter, Editor Me put a small explanation at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Now, he's able to slap me around with a linear weaponry, the linear gun, the linear rifle, but my weaponry is really putting in the work with just chipping away really fast, and the handgun in particular actually forced him to overheat for a second there, which really brought his energy down for a brief moment. Or, not even for a brief moment, it's still way down. Look at that, it's almost on E. In fact, if you look closely at some point, yep, he tried twice to use his Exceed Orbits, but he doesn't have the energy. They just go right back. It's kind of hilarious to actually watch. He's able to hit me with a lot of heavy impact, but the sheer amount that I'm throwing at him is too much for his AC to deal with. That just goes to show how much heat really plays a part in Nexus combat. But also the fact that his AC just isn't really equipped to deal with solid shell damage, at least as far as I'm aware. I'll take a look at the stats at some point and figure it out myself. We're going to go ahead and switch over to his view, so that way we can get a clearer understanding of what went wrong with him. I also have to admit, at least on my end, that yeah, I have a bit of a small problem with consistent target lock, especially with the fact that my FCS lockbox is actually quite small. It's actually the hand cannon's fault, or handgun's fault, rather. Switched over? Okay. So a bit of a strong start with the micro missiles and the extensions. And now he is just hitting good and hard. He got some really good tracking. I mean, I would expect no less from an artificial intelligence character, but, oh, here we go. He is way up. The magma handgun strikes again. And he's grounded for a brief moment, and, okay, now he's coming at me again. Able to slap me around a bunch. Fire off some more missiles, a bit too close. Kinda, yep. Just tried to use it twice. There it went. Bit of a problem for him there. Still a bit too close there, bud. You're wasting ammunition. And he's just getting torn apart. And we'll have to flip. What good timing on that part. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun.